It's the September 2nd. No, it's September 2, 2022, September 6th. I'm going to get my dates right one of these days. Wow, what 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 a day already. September, that's what happens when we go from the amazing, hot summers, still really hot, but into the September fall. The fall air is always changing up, and it's so amazing. Hopefully you're having an amazing day too. And so we're here for another Marketing Made Easy. My buddy Scott is right there. He's ready and prepared, all ready to go. Apparently waiting 40 minutes so he can get on to this call to just talk about some amazing things that he's discovered over the last little while. And yeah, so we're all pumped and ready to go. I'm not going to steal away your thunder. What is up with you, my friend?
Oh, so much is up, Joey. First of all, I finished the pumpkin plant, and it's like when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. When you're ready, a book will fall off the shelf. The book's been around for years and years and years. I think like, I don't know, 6 or 8 years. It was in the mid-late teens. You
Yeah.
found it in 2019. And, for me to read a book, highlight the book, then read all of my highlights, transcribe it, then highlight it again, print it out, read it again. There's got to be something after all these years of studying everything and everyone. It just so we had this conversation the other day. It so supports Atlas. Atlas so supports it. In the anybody, like I don't care who it is. If they're an entrepreneur, I'm like, you have to go read Pumpkin Plant. It is perfect for you. When you figure this out, it is a game changer. And just the way he puts it, and so that was one thing. Still continuing to do nothing, but by nothing it means I'm not pulling the trigger on and coming to any of the pressure of, well, what's your offer and what course are you going to do? Even in writing the invitation/sales letter for Atlas, you're like, just write it and don't put any of the offer
Yeah,
thing
fill
in.
in the blanks later, right?
Yeah, that's interesting because most of it is about the research and everything. And so it's just been a wonderful week. I took a few days to just kind of back off of things
Good.
and organizing Atlas into a semester study guide. And I'll be releasing it under the name Mr. X in the future.
Yeah, maybe you could sell the study guide, the Coles Notes versions or whatever.
Cliff Notes version of Atlas, the unofficial release version that Joey won't know. So it's just been a wonderful week. And as I said, Joey, to learn this from a different perspective and then be able to immediately teach it to somebody. Like we've been talking about chain of beliefs for a couple of weeks and me figuring out and getting it down. And then I did it with my dream client today. And it was just
nice.
Time you do it, it gets a little bit better. And what is the job? And again, each time I hear somebody wanting to do more than one thing, my landing page opt-in formulas focus was one thing, one idea, one problem, one solution. And it's expanded a little. And that's the same premise that we're talking about here. So it's been a wonderful, exciting week for me. And I haven't done yoga because I'm healing an injury. Probably the most difficult thing for me is to not do yoga.
Yeah.
But it's healing. It's there. And yeah, I too was like, gosh, I love Tuesday nights. It is just such an incredible joy to talk about the things we love to talk about because we talk about it, Joey, here on Heart-Centered Marketing Made Easy because we know it helps people.
Right.
At the end of the day, if we help somebody on this call or somebody that listens to the replay, #replay or live, #live, or somebody somehow makes their way into the group and all of a sudden finds for the first time a relief from, gosh, this thing actually could work. That's why we do this. It's not about anything other than that. And in the interim, we've built a tribe.
Yeah, and that leads into what we're talking about today because it's all about pillar number one, which is building the tribe, something that I had to learn the hard way. And one of the things that we talk about a lot, and this is part of that building the tribe. And then on last Friday, which was the holiday weekend, I was blessed to again work with Kajabi in a massive amount of people on their mastermind talking about dream clients and answering questions there. And that was one of the questions that came up a lot in the chat was how do you build the tribe? What does it look like? And all these other things. So I figured, well, let's answer some of those questions now as well. And because it's the number one thing that we need to do. It's not easy to do, and it's sometimes a slower process than we'd like it to be, but it is also, from my experience and my knowledge doing it over the last at least 3 years steady, is the well, like it's foundation is the only word I can come up with. It just makes all the sales process or whatever you want to call it afterwards so easy because the tribe is already there. They connected with you, they bond with you, but it's all on their timeline, which is also part of the creed. But if you don't, y- you can't have them make decisions on their timeline if you don't have a tribe because then all you have is leads and you're just pushing things in front of them. It's gathering the tribe. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the stuff that you're doing now to build the tribe or any ideas there, or maybe ask our amazing viewers right now, and even on the replay, we'll still come back to answering
Yeah.
the questions. If you have any questions about building your tribe, let us know. We will answer them, and we'll just kind of brainstorm this, if that's okay.
Yeah, and Joey, one of the things I just for those that are like heard you say pillar one, which is build your tribe. Pillar two is serve, not sell, and pillar three, as you mentioned, on their timeline.
Right.
So I want to clarify that for somebody who may have heard that for the first time. They found us through YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram or Boozglaw or some unknown social platform broadcasting. And we didn't know. And it's just, Joey, it's such a great one. And I want to tell a quick story. Years back, I was developing a directory for the hypnotist industry. And my role was to help put the whole concept together and the marketing plan and the levels. And my buddy into the industry. And there was a third person who was responsible. He was the social media guru back at the time, or so I thought, because I knew absolutely nothing about using social media. We built the directory. We had a developer and program, and it was very successful, and people were buying into it. I was like, great, we have recurring revenue, we have people, we have levels, we figured it all out. It's time for you, Mr. Person, to do social media. And he comes back and says, well, everybody that's already in the directory, just have them post on their social media. And I was like, you've got a third of this company for that. And I've been waiting all of this time. And a couple of years ago, you could have asked me that question. I wouldn't have known the answer. But what we've done is, again, unintentionally, we started out just doing what we did. And you've said this many times, 2.5, 3 years ago, it was you and I talking to each other.
Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of people are like, I can't build a tribe until I have a bunch of followers. And
Right.
I can't build a group yet until I. And kudos to Rosa and to Lorna, who have just started theirs. And
Yeah.
Wendy, who's going live on a regular basis and just doing it. And I had a conversation today and it was like, it's going to take years. I said, no, it's not. It's just not going to take that time to build that. And go on, Joey.
No, I was thinking, I was going to say that one of the big things that come up with this, because you were just alluding to it, I think you were alluding to it, was one of my own mindset blocks was the word tribe meant like lots of people,
Oh, yeah.
20, hundreds of people, whatever. And that's not true. A tribe is two people.
Yeah.
It could be two people. And that's how it started with you and I.
Yeah.
And if you get that out of your mind right now, if you're listening to this and you're saying, well, let me do this first and then I'll build the tribe, which is where I was many years ago. Yeah. I'll build the tribe after. That didn't work. It's it's the concept of just like, how do I bring in or connect with a person who I like, that is like me? That's the way the tribe begins.
Yeah.
And
And Joey, I'm going to jump in here
yeah,
because talking about what you're saying is this makes so much sense. If you were going to start building friendships or relationships, you'd invite somebody over to your house. You'd watch a game, you'd
yeah,
have dinner, you'd chat, a drink, whatever it was. And then it'd be like, okay, let's invite so and so from down the street. And you wouldn't invite the whole community to your house at once and say, okay, I want everybody in the world to come to my house and 10,000 people. What would you do with them?
Yeah.
But as you're saying, you start by building one. And Emma said, can I repeat the pillar? So pillar one is to build your tribe, which is what we're talking about tonight. Pillar two is to serve, not sell. And pillar three is on their timeline.
Respect their timeline. Yeah.
Respect their timeline on their timeline.
Yeah.
And again, Joey, it's just, it's got to be there first, because if you're then going to go out and go onto Facebook or go onto YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever social you're going to go out on and start talking to people, your purpose is so that they come hang out with you because they like you. They want to be a part of your tribe, and it's one at a time. And you get to talk to people one at a time and quality time with them. And the beauty of what we watch build is, in the beginning, you and I responded to pretty much everything, and we were in there all the time. But then over time, when people were going through Atlas or Right Marketing Copy or VIP or Elite or whatever it was, and they felt safe in the community, and they truly were part of the tribe, not a Stu McLaren tribe, like you said, where there's, I went through that thing and it was like, oh my God, how am I going to get all these tens of thousands of people in? And that's not what we want. Is we want a tribe that we can help and serve. And what happens is they all become part of that tribe, and then they want to help the new people in the tribe. And that's the magic happens, Joey.
The tribe supports the tribe, and that's one thing that I learned from Seth Godin, and which was kind of counterintuitive, where he says that you begin the tribe, you begin to gather the tribe, but then you don't own it. Like and we're just talking Facebook group here as the, I guess, the container, and it doesn't have to be that. A tribe is anywhere that you are able to communicate with your audience, and usually that's in an email list. But the thing is, with an email list, is the tribe doesn't communicate with each other. So it's really great if you have a community-based platform of some kind where you can gather, and or even have something like this, because still we have parts of our tribe right now gathering and watching us and interacting. So there's some kind of interaction there where people can see each other and comment and whatever. But the point of it is that, it's that it's pulling back out and saying, I'm gathering these people so that I can communicate with them and I can help them. But it's not to gather the tribe to sell. Like, that's not the point of it. The point of it is not to do that, even though it makes selling a whole lot easier once you have a tribe. But you don't own them. You're lucky if they listen to you and they want to buy what you have to offer later. That's the way I learned to approach it. It's like, this is a tribe that I may be, quote unquote, a leader of, but I don't own them. And secondly, I'm super lucky that if they listen to anything that I say and they buy my stuff. Whereas, the other ways, there's a lot of people who will just gather groups of people. I don't think they're really gathering a tribe. They'll just try to grab groups and sell them. And then,
okay. And Joey, I want to just interject here because it's really important. It's, who do you allow in to your tribe? This is not the line for you. You need to apply. You need to do something to get in, and you do this brilliantly as well with always the join questions, and then with, okay, I'm going to send you an email and give you the gift that I promised you. And then you really get to see if people are going to be part of the tribe, or are they just coming in, joining another group for the sake of joining another group and not really becoming. And it's a small percentage that actually end up being part of the tribe because it's just not for them.
Right.
They are interested in exactly what types of pumpkins and seeds you have.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, how is there any First of all, if you have a question regarding the tribe or anything like we're talking about in marketing or building out your audiences or anything like that, let us know in the comments because we will answer them for you. We'd love to have a conversation with you as well. I'm just curious, Scott, like, are what are you doing? Is there any input or tips or anything like that that you're doing to build your tribe now? Anything that you could share?
Right now, Joey, I am out in my dream clients' playgrounds and I'm just watching what's going on. I'm interacting with them. I'm answering the questions that I'm qualified to answer that have to do with my superpowers. And I'm in, three different places, looking, reading. I'm watching what they're putting out. I'm digesting their information. I'm learning what
Yeah,
they're doing.
yeah,
And people now get to see what I'm talking about. Past when I did it in Kajabi, but that's not where I want to hang out anymore, and that's not what I'm looking for. So that to me, that's what always works. Is just being in there, and I'm not technically bringing them yet to a Facebook group or a circle or
okay,
some
cool.
type
Yeah.
of hangout area yet, because as you know, there's a couple of weeks left before I fully plant everything and say, okay, this is exactly what it is when I finish Atlas. And that's part of the, not, I kind of know what I want to call it. But to me, the first thing I'm going to do is start doing lives and going onto my playgrounds of choice and putting out their content and seeing what's needed and interacting with people and then have them come into a group where I can help them even more. And that's what I know works because we've been doing it for the last few years and
Yeah.
tweaking, playing with it. And you're a master at it, Joey.
Thank you.
And how you get people in and how you welcome them and then how you interact with them and then how they get to interact with everyone. And I like what Emma put up here, that you're a custodian of the tribe.
Oh, thank you. That is
That's
so cool.
that's humbling too. I like that. Joey, would you clean up after the tribe, please? Um,
Thank you. Um, those are all really great points, and I think I think an important point to really put out there is like how you organically do this is where, and I was talking to some people today about this, and it just comes to mind that everything that we do, if we follow, if you're following anything that we talk about on this show a lot, which is like superpower matrix, and part of that is the characteristics and personality of who you are. I think that is a huge component of how you organically draw in people, because that's the job of that is to repel most of the people.
right.
And I was having, like I said, I had a couple conversations today, and when I was saying that, they chuckled. Not that it was crazy, but it was like I've never really looked at it from that point of view, where you're just going looking for the small percentage of people that align with you, rather than trying to grab everybody and bring them into a group and sell them and all this other kind of stuff. You're just going out there and saying, and like, we're planting the flag. Here's who I am. Here's what I stand for, and that organically removes most of the market, um, who will not align, who will come in, who may come in. I shouldn't say will, but who may come into the tribe and disrupt it. And so we are all about, at least I am, about protecting the tribe. That's what it's for. And I think that if you go back into like real tribes, like that's what they do. They protect themselves. And you have to be you have to be welcomed in, and you have to go through the sorority or whatever, through the tests to be included in the tribe and all these things. And if we did that now, just imagine that if you have somebody who you like and who's working for you, or dream client already, and you just replicate that, just carbon copy over and over again, then it's so much easier to communicate with them. And because the tribe is like you, first of all, it's so much easier to do marketing because you're marketing to yourself. There's no worrying about like what should I say? How should I say this? Yes, the language is important because we have to put our eyes and ears to the ground, but it's still these are the people I want because they're like me, and I'm just gonna look at how they're saying it. That's the difference, the real difference between the marketing language and communication. Would you agree with that?
Wow, powerful stuff in there, and it caused a few things to come up, Joey.
Okay, good.
I fully agree. Two, it goes to defining, like you said, that dream client. And if you find that one, you want to hang out with all of them just like that. And then you don't have to. And I like when you bring this up is could I teach all these people the same thing and not have to change a word because they may not get it?
Yeah,
I want the same people in there. So your language towards that dream client doesn't have to change. And backing up a little bit, how do you build a tribe? By planting a flag in the sand and going out there. I would be willing to make a wager, Joey, that if I just created a dream statement and said, I help this blank who is experiencing this thing to get this result, and just went on social media and planted the flag and said, look, I help yoga teachers and healers who want to get their stuff online to do it, blah, blah, simply easily so that they can live the dream life and do anything anywhere they want, whatever it is. If I just went out on social media platforms and said that and did nothing else, after a while, I would have people like, huh, I guess this guy helps me to do what I'm looking to do. Let me check it out. And I think it's really important that we only allow the people to get through the gate who we want past the gate. And
yeah,
that's a very selective few. And two, we need to be real specific what our sign says in the line that they're standing in. And that sign is what we put out to the social world is here's my sign. Here's exactly what I do. This is the one thing that I do to serve you, to help you. And I think those two pieces, if done right, make it so easy to build a tribe. Because as we've talked about, I was having a conversation today, and it's like, well, we build the tribe and you put 5 people in the first cohort. I like using your language when I'm talking to you. I don't not use it anymore. I used to do it. It's like I changed the words, but it's your show. So
it's our show, but yeah,
I'm kidding. I said, well, what if you did, at the introductory of 500, you did 5, that's 2,500. And then the next time you did it for 1,000, you took 8, that's 8 grand. I said, that's 13,000 just to do 2 programs. And it's like, wow, holy cow.
yep,
I
yep,
said, that's all you need. We don't need 2,000 people to buy the thingy to get the conversion rates on the KPIs and the BITs and the QRXs. So, going back here, it's just doing simple things over and over and over and over and over again and showing up like Michalowicz talks about in Pumpkin Plan in concentric circles. It's how Southwest Airlines made people believe that they had more planes than that, is because their turnaround was so fast and they figured it out
exactly.
easily. But you want to, I like the example, you need to be everywhere they are, not
Yeah,
everywhere, just everywhere they are. And if it's in that group, in this community, in this place, and this blog and that, well, then that's where you show up because we're only looking for that couple of hundred people, 1,000 at best, I'm thinking, to do what
over
needs
time, yeah,
over time, right? Not right off the bat.
yeah. Like we did the I think we did the math last time about 1,000 people over 10 years, and it was like still epic, you
Oh
know?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
and imagine that, like 1,000 people over 10 years to have this amazing business
yeah.
with freedom and just joy and bliss and all this stuff. To me, that's a win. Like it's a huge like if I don't have to worry about, you know, bringing in hundreds of thousands per webinar to try and get 1% conversion or
Yeah.
whatever. But that's a whole other topic. But yeah,
Oh,
like it's just and because it comes down to those 100 people per year, whatever, who are the right 100 that can join the tribe, and then on their timeline they'll decide to join us or not, and that's okay.
yeah. And again, it goes to that. That's so important is on their timeline.
Yeah,
And not throttling them once they're in the community. Because it's like, so you have, a couple of people in, and you go in, and one of the things that you've created brilliantly, you figure out the rhythm of the group, and you do the Freedom Fridays, and you encourage people to post. And it doesn't have to be, I launched my product and I had 8,000 sales and I bought my first yacht. It's, I took time to think today. That's like amazing. And then how you do that, and the little things that keep the group engaged. And again, when you have these people and we can talk to them and they're telling us their problems, their challenges, that's what makes a tribe even stronger. Is then we know how to help them. We learn more. In the beginning, when you've only got a few people, you can spend a lot of time chatting with them. What's the biggest challenge you're having in the industry? What don't you like about the
Yeah.
industry? What, blah, blah, blah. All the things that we do when we interview. As it gets bigger, like you said, you're being bombarded now, Joey. You're like, a superstar, and you go on these calls, and in a good way. You go on because you're sharing what these entrepreneurs need to hear. You're sharing with them the truth of not doing it the other way, and not killing yourself, and not spending most of your life doing things that will never serve you,
Yeah.
and doing it the easy way. Again, I had a conversation today, and it was like, okay, we've kind of picked the name of what it's going to be, and we're figuring everything out. And it's like, so when I start posting, I can do some different things. I'm like, no, you can do one thing right now and nothing else. You got to become known. And
Yeah,
if
it's
you,
it's the only this is the, for everybody listening to this, it's like I only do this.
yeah,
And when you become the only, you become a hot commodity.
yeah,
Like people were like, that's the only place you can get this. That's you
yeah,
have to hire Scott to do this. And
yeah.
and that's scary. Like, and niching down, or just choosing one path is scary to do. But I'm telling you that it is the path to everything. Because when people know that you're the only one who does this one thing and you do it the best, you can charge whatever you want to, uh, and you have premium, dream clients and all these things, and it just makes your life so much easier. And those are the things that I talk about, like raising prices. It's not just because of raising prices. It's because you're having the conversation of, if I only do this one thing, then you're going to get really great at it, and the right dream clients, or in the tribe, will find you to say, I need your help to get past this place that I'm at. And I have a conversation just a couple of minutes before we went live, and I asked the person, what would it take for you to go from $49 to 1,000? Like, what do you need to do? And the answer was pretty simple: teach them everything I know. And I go, then that's the answer. Why wouldn't you? Right? And it's because, and this is what we do. Like in Atlas, like it's everything is being taught. There's no secrets. There's no, I can't tell you that. And it's like, so that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the insights. You're paying for the guidance. So anybody listening to this thinking that you have to sell on a low end scale, there are people who want to know what you know. And that's what a dream client is the somebody who is, and the dream clients are contained within the tribe. They are just a few steps behind you, and they're looking for your guidance, and you're able to hold out your hand and pull them along with you. You're not you're not so far that they can't see you, that they need binoculars to go, oh, there's that dude Scott. Like, look at how successful he is. I wonder how long it's going to take me to get to where he is.
One of the things that I always ask people, as soon as I meet them, usually, or engage with them, is like you said, what do you know that others don't know that they need to know? And that's part of the superpowers, but it's also about your history. And that's from one of the books. I don't know. Had me read so many books lately. I don't know which one it's from, but it's from somebody's book. And there's another piece here that I pulled up, is when you're building a tribe, is you've got to give your business the new label so that your clients can easily quantify you. And that comes right out of the Pumpkin Plan from McAllowitz when he's talking about when you're starting a new business or rebuilding, give it the new label. How many different names has the show had, and how many different names has the group had? I mean, I don't even know what the name of the group is today, but it was this and that, and that's not really important. But if you start with, and you talked about this with me a week or so ago, is to just come up with something that you can explain. What's Atlas? Well, Atlas is this and this. By itself, it means something that has nothing to do with what it is in this context.
Yeah.
And so building something that the clients can say, okay, I want to be a part of that. That's part of building a tribe also.
Yeah, the tribe language is huge, and that when I started Atlas, I didn't know it was going to turn into its own language or methodology, or I do it the Atlas way or something like that. It just kind of went that way, which is very cool. I think that's just a bonus to it. But if you can do that, if you can get tribe language happening, that even builds way more piqued interest in what you do, because the people outside of the tribe or that are new are asking, what is that, or what am I missing out on? And they want to be a part of that.
I'm going to give away a secret from last week's training,
Okay.
and stop me unless you just kick me out. But
It's all good, man.
and we repeated it because you said name it to claim it.
Yeah.
And I hadn't realized that over the course of watching Atlas being built, when you came up with something, it's the dream client statement, the dream client checklist, the dream client DNA, the victory path. And then, I'm like the job hunt questions. It wasn't just like this. You put particular names to it. So now if I'm talking to someone, I was like, well, did you do the superpower matrix that Joey made? And, let's talk about the dream client thingy or the DNA or the statement. And the statement is vitally important, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
So it was such a big thing for me last week because in now naming my thing, I was trying to call it the thingy marketing thingy easy something thingy name SEO that, and you're like, dude, just call it something else, like related to Buddhism or yoga or this. And we played with some stuff and putting it out there. The muse jumped in and the demon appeared, and it was like, here it is. So it's just really important to get it out there and start talking to people and helping them. Because, like you asked, what am I doing? I'm helping people. And then they'll say, well, how do I find you? How do
Yeah.
I follow you? That's the next step in it. And then all of a sudden, I know where they're hanging out.
Yeah.
So I know where to go. I know what they're talking about. I know their problems. I know everything about them. So when it's time, I've got more stuff to talk about every day for months already on what I know they're looking for, which means they're searching for it. And I'm just, doing my research. And that to me is how I'll be able to go out and build a tribe. I'm not going to say fast, but not waiting months or years. But
Yeah, it starts with one or two, and then those tribe members will bring others in. That's what I found. So yeah, it's not a fast process, but it's an important one if you want to curate the right people to make the sale later on easy, because the tribe begins to trust you. I think that's what the bottom line is. I don't know who this is, but the Atlas is my program that helps people. Like, I help them unfunnel their way back to gaining 96% of their time back and working with dream clients in a very calm, relaxed marketing way without giving up who they are. Like, that's what it is. It's a program that helps you get rid of all of the overwhelm and frustration and everything about building an online business, and give you back all your time back right now. So
so
that's
Joey,
basically what Atlas is.
yeah, Joey, that was you. And you earlier said, I took time to think today. I like that. So that's wonderful. And then you asked, what is Atlas? So that's you, Jane, I believe, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Okay, cool. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Emma, I have a name for my future group, Chatterbox. Cool.
I like that. That could be a good name for a platform if it's not already taken.
There you go, Chatterbox.
Oh, great.
So we're talking about building the tribe first. There's three pillars that we like to, well, that the whole foundation of what we do is based on, which is building the tribe first, and that is getting the right people into your world, not getting them there to sell them, but get people that are alike together. So you're building a community, a tribe. And then the second thing is to serve that tribe and don't sell them. And then the last thing is to respect their timeline, which is them reaching out whenever they are ready to ask about whatever it is that you have that you could help them with. So there are nuances to it. It's not that you never mention things or whatever. It's not that you don't put offers out, but the tribe can feel, I think that anybody can feel the bait. Anybody can feel the setup coming when all you care about is selling someone. And if you follow that creed where it's like, I'm just going to build people, bring people that are aligned together and serve them by just having great conversations, then they will never feel sold.
So here's I got a couple of questions, Joey. The first question
Bring
is
them.
this first question is for the tribe, and you could play also. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a Facebook group with 42,000 followers, and every time there's a post, there's about 8 comments? Or would you rather have a Facebook group that had 300 people in it, and every time there was a post or a question or something, 50 to 60 people would comment on it? So there's the question for everybody watching. And the question I have for you, Joey, is you've been saying in Pillar Two, we serve, not sell, even though in serving, we're actually selling in a way. And you talk about that, yeah, there are opportunities to sell in the group. And I want you to talk a little bit about, for somebody that may be saying, well, wait a second. He says we're not supposed to sell in the group, but then he says we can sell. There's some subtle nuances on how it's done. If you would care to share that, please.
I think that's a great question. Thanks for bringing it up. The nuance is I guess the language and what's happening. I only use sell because it's an easier word, but it's really an invite to
Mhm.
the the solution that you have, because the tribe is of dream client potential people, like dream clients in training. So if you've done the job right, then everybody is experiencing some of the same things and they want to go to a certain oasis, a certain destination. And your solution is an invite. It's like, we're going there now. Like, we're going to get on the bus and we're going to drive there next month. Would you like to join us? That's it. And so the destination doesn't change. And that's the whole thing. It's not like, well, guess what? We're going to Vegas to that next month, or we're going to California the month after. And then people are like, what is it? Where does this thing go? Like, am I on the right bus route? Like, what's happening here? Whereas if the destination is always the same, like for Atlas, and or like, the destination is, give me just more freedom, give me more time with my family, get rid of the overwhelm and all this stuff that I help them do with through Atlas, that never changes. And so the invite is always the same thing. And that's what it is. Like, hey, the bus is going now. We're leaving next month. Would you like to join us? No, that's okay. Then wait for the next bus and just continue waiting here, and we'll have a conversation waiting for the next bus. If you're ready for that one, jump on.
And I
So
love the model you've built, Joey, because it's brilliant. Like you said, the bus is leaving next month to Vegas. Are you coming? And okay, it may not go again until December. I'll let you know then. That's it. I love it
yeah,
because you know, it's that's how I did it when you told me to. It's like I'm going to be doing this cohort on this day, and I'm looking for 12 people. Let me know if you're interested.
yeah.
And you pissed me off because I wanted it to be more complicated. I wanted it to be more difficult.
Yeah.
I wanted it to have to be some kind of sequencing system, not like. So, what's the biggest challenge in your business right now? Cool. Oh, can I ask you a few questions? Yeah. Okay. That's it. And tell me what that looks like, and why does that frustrate you or piss you off so much? And okay, that's cool. Would you like some help with that? Yeah. Okay. Here's this private doc thing you might be interested.
Hmm.
And it's like when we have a tribe, they would be upset if they didn't know about the next atlas. I truly believe, because if
Right.
there's somebody there that was like, I love this guy, I love this whole community, I love this tribe. I'm just not. I'm still working my full time job, and I hope that I can get there. I just don't have the money yet. And then all of a sudden, it's like something happens, and this and that, and everything aligns, and they're like, "Oh my God, I have the money now. I'm ready." And you go, okay, anybody, the bus is going next month, and they're like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
And
but
that,
and there's no pressure, right? There's no like, this will be the
oh,
last bus. This is the best bus, or whatever. It's like we're just going again. Would you like to join us if you're ready? And that's the difference. So people are welcomed to join. It's not a sales process. It's not this, like you like to use the word throttling and all this other stuff. It's not that. I just can't stand that. And at the same time, we can't, because we're building the tribe, and if it's the right thing, the right people in there and serving them, they still need help. Like, that's part of what our job is. But like I said, we're lucky if they listen to us. We're lucky if we say, I've got this solution. Would you like to join us and see if it works for you? And the ones who put up their hand and buy, we're lucky. I always look at it from that point of view, that it's not like, well, you know, I think they make the right decision. I truly believe in my process and all that, but at the same time, I don't expect it. Like, well, it's damn well time you did this. It's like, no, like, thank you for taking the leap into believing in what I'm doing, so I could try to serve you even more. So we would not be doing our job if we didn't offer our expertise to somebody. But that's where that third piece comes in, right? Is where it's like, whenever you are ready, here it is. And whenever you're ready, it's all good.
and Joey, I'm going to jump in my notes because you know that I just finished processing this whole thing. And McCallowitz talks about in the pumpkin plan, he says that the more he puts his knowledge out there, the more business comes to him,
Right.
because he just keeps putting it out there. He doesn't tell them everything he knows, but he just keeps putting it out there. And another thing, Joey, is when you were talking earlier about how do you go from 49 to $1,000 is by sharing your knowledge. When you share your knowledge, you learn stuff. When you put all of your stuff out there, all of your best stuff, it has a way of organically going out there and coming back to you in ways that you could never imagine. If you keep anything to yourself, that does not serve you, that
No.
does not serve your community, and especially your creative side, your muse, your daemon. They You can't be in that place unless you're out there putting it. And I'm grateful again to go through Atlas and then be able to teach it and share what we've been talking about for years and actually apply it and see it. And then I get to look at it in a whole different light
Right.
again,
Right.
rather than just, okay, I did it, I studied it, I did my assignment. But now not only do it with me, I do it with someone else and I get to play in that. And I always encourage people to put your best stuff out there
Yeah,
because of
always. I got
always.
asked that question today, and Emma just we should get some we should get some points for these book sales. Yeah, it's a great book, Emma. You'll love it. And by the way,
Thank you.
thank you, everyone. I can't see most of them. They're all Facebook users. I don't know who has been messaging except for Emma, because I know you're putting your name in. But thank you for playing along with us and engaging with us. If you have a question regarding tribe, by the way, or building your audience or anything like that, communicating, let us know. Just put it into the chat. We'd love to have a conversation with you and answer your questions.
And
Um,
Emma did say that she preferred the latter of the
yeah,
two examples, which was 300 people with 50 people. And again, I'm in a whole bunch of I'm in three different groups right now and following, or yeah, and that was one thing I talked about today also was I am being throttled, and it's a total waste of bandwidth and X's and O's because I'm not their dream client. I will not buy their stuff. I might buy one just to see what they're doing, but I'm not their person. And so I'm on their list. They're sending me stuff. Why? I have not been qualified. They just let me in. I didn't have to stand in a line. I didn't have to do anything. And so, it's important to not do that, to not just go the old route of let me go buy a bunch of cold traffic and
Yeah.
hope that a certain percentage of them might actually purchase. And maybe a tiny little percentage of that will purchase again in the future. But would you invite any of those people over to the house?
Right. That's the big question, right? Would you? And then a lot of times people will say to me, "Hell no!" Like I wouldn't. And then why would you want to work with these people? Like I don't understand it. I get that there's money that at a certain point, you know, chasing money and getting to that point is just it's exhausting to try and continuously fill the front end and all these other things. Um,
I don't know anything about it, Joe.
it's exhausting. It's like
It's the nightmare exhaustion, Joey, because even the ones I'm talking about, I realize it's like crap. I don't have enough people, so what am I going to do? Now, let me give them the first lesson that I already taught live, and it's not too late for them to get in. There's this many spots open. And you can just tell it's not you're not out to help me. You're just out to get money to fill it.
yeah,
If you were really out to, it just it makes so much sense. And as I talk about it, and they're like, I said, it's got to be easy. Don't complicate it. It's got to be easy. Don't complicate it. Because I
yeah.
was the master complicator. There was no, I was the complication multiplier. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
imagine when you multiply complexity, that's not a good thing.
no, it's
It's multiplying simplicity that really takes off, right?
and that's what this is all about
Yeah.
is we figure it out like you have, and each time you do it it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I got it figured out. Now I can multiply this thing. And now, even I was having a conversation today and I was like, okay, you do this one thing for a year and then I'll let you do something else.
Right.
Be so darn good at it. Outliers, 10,000 hour rule.
Yeah.
With a year, if we just focus each week, you've been focusing on Atlas for what, 2 years now?
At least I think it was yeah, at least.
On the cohorts of Atlas.
This is 7. So the next one is 7, number
Okay,
7. So however, if you back it out and whatever, so it's about 2 years at least.
2.5, whatever,
Yeah.
a few years.
Yeah.
Imagine like after you've done that another 2 or 3 years.
I
I mean,
know, and I'm still playing with it. Even this next one is okay.
it's
I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that.
it's
Uh,
always in beta, right, Joey?
always,
Everything
always.
you do is always in beta. Your group is in beta. Your name is in beta. Your program is in beta.
Yeah,
Somebody today was like, "Should I build a mini course?" I'm like, "No." Because what if you build it, even though we got all this information and you build it and you put it out and it doesn't take off? It's not what they wanted. Let's spend a little more time and find out exactly what their biggest problems are and how we can help them. And then let's put together a program that's easy for you to deliver in your dream life.
that's right. Emma says that you got to experience other people's groups to understand how not to run a tribe. Thank you so much. And you're right. I was in a lot of other groups, and but more importantly, I think I was in other marketing arenas or whatever you want to call them, circles,
Yeah.
to learn not to do things that way or that just didn't align with me. I'm not going to say they don't work, but they don't work for me, that's for sure. And this other way, being just heart centered, to me is a better way to do things because people, they know you care. I mean, dude, like you know that. I mean, I could talk about this stuff all day long and building tribes and and the conversations that I have, and it's never been so easy. And I want to make that known, that it's not standing on a soapbox or look at me, I'm better than anybody else or anything like that. It's just the fact that of diving into the three pillars that has made it all very easy, because it's all people that I enjoy speaking to, where that sales element is completely removed from any conversation. And I have people already who are, invested in the next iteration of Atlas without having to put them through any kind of pressure funnels or anything like that. And that's what I mean by building the tribe, because the tribe waits for you. They're waiting for the next invitation. And that's a pretty awesome thing for people to say, when can I give you money to to get on the bus, right? To the next thing.
The other thing, Joey, about building a tribe of dream clients from the get-go, only letting in those people that you want to hang out with, that you look forward to coming into your group each day or every other day, whatever, and going, I love talking to these people. I love,
Yeah.
they really will listen to me and they do as I say. And you just get excited about that. And then what you build things just for what they need based on, figuring out what are they going through. And if we just show up like that, and here's the most important piece of that is when you define your dream client and when you draw the line in the sand and you build that community, like you said earlier, I have dream client. And who does she hang out with? Other people that are potentially dream clients.
Yep.
Because like people hang out with like people. I hang out with you. Why? Because I love talking about marketing and doing everything and all of this.
Yep.
So, if somebody this, it's like, hey, you go here because this is going to be good for you. And I think I told you a couple of times, whenever I would create any program years ago or any speech or something, I'd go out and ask people, what are the biggest challenges you're facing? How would you solve them? And then it was like, who else should I talk to?
Right.
And give me their buddy who was, when I was writing a book on how to create a successful restaurant, I'd interview a chef and I'd say, who else should I talk to? Talk to my buddy so and so. He's a chef here and the chef here. And all of a sudden, you're talking to all the chefs and you're the go to guy for whatever the thing is. And it's the same thing here. Once we find our tribe and our dream clients, they bring other people because they go talk about you.
Right.
Hey, this guy Joey. Over the years, it's like you need to go hang out with Joey. He
Right.
can help you. This is, and that's an important piece of, as you said earlier, building a protective tribe and a safe tribe and a tribe of just people you want. I don't want 40,000 people in my group when only a couple of people are actually responding. What does that tell me about the group?
Yeah.
That it's not a very good group. Nothing wrong with the group, but again, I only want the people like we talked about in the tribe. There comes a time when it's like, okay, you joined 6 months ago. You haven't done a thing. You haven't even clicked the like button. And what are you doing in here?
Hmm.
And it's different than pillar number 3 is respecting their time. There has to at least be some investment in, you wouldn't become part of a tribe and sit there and watch everybody fetching water and bringing in the harvest and building. You wouldn't just sit there.
Right.
You might applaud from time to time, but at least that's a participation.
Yeah.
And
You
so,
you know when it's your time to interject or to ask for help, and then go in and help other people, or you figure out it's not for you and then you leave. And that's the whole idea of staying like on one path. This is where we're going. This is who we are. This is what we believe. And the more you change that message, the more you confuse the tribe, the audience. They don't know. They don't know who to bring in. They don't know who it's for. Like I quote Seth Godin a lot, where it says something to the effect of, "This is for you, but not you." And that's what this is all about. This is for you, but not you.
you go
Um,
stand another line. And Joey, you've heard me say this over and over again over the years, is if I stand on top of a mountain and tell you what I do and how great I am, you won't listen. But if I stand on top of a mountain and tell you how great Joey is and
Hmm.
why, and I articulate that he'll basically take all the complexity out of your life, he'll save you 96% of your world, and he'll make so easy. I know that. But if it was like, well, Joey can do this, and this, it'd be like it dilutes it.
Yeah.
So by making it so clear that I can tell somebody else. Again, well, what's Lorna's tribe all about? Well, it's about people, relaunching this. What's this one's tribe about? So that I can say, oh, you need to go stand in her line, his line. That
Exactly. Yeah.
there's some comments here that
Yeah. I don't know who this is, but
that is you again.
I think this cohort you. This is you. So Atlas has changed a lot. I think this cohort is
Oh,
as
no, no, that's Lorna.
Lorna. Okay. Because I
I'm
don't.
going to read.
Okay.
Atlas has changed a lot. I think this cohort, it is as perfect as it needs to be. That's Lorna.
Thank you, Lorna. And you take it over and over again. Why? I don't know who that is.
That's you, and you take it. I think it maybe we were saying you just deliver it over and over again. Program your cohort. I'm not sure because I don't think we were talking about taking it over and over again.
Yeah,
It
let
could have.
us know some clarity on that question, and we'll answer that one for you. But yeah, we'll come back to that one question. You want to read that one? You
Yeah. What do you recommend as qualifiers for joining the tribe?
want to take it?
Yeah, when you join my tribe, the first thing I want to know is why you want to join this tribe. What are you going to contribute and what do you expect to get from it? And I want to know what are the biggest challenges you're facing in XYZ. And will you abide by the group rules? And let me have your email so that I can send you a gift for just coming on board. Those are the qualifiers that I want to know what you do. What's your niche? What's your industry? Because I only want those people in my industry to be in my group. I want to know your challenges and I want to know what it is that you're looking to get and give to the group. That's what I like to look for. And I know, Joey, you're similar in a way.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for is a culture fit. That's what a tribe is. It's a culture. So it's a lot has to do with mindset. And over time, when you work on your dream client DNA, which is the person you're creating, like if it was a perfect person and their DNA, who are they? And and the person that you're speaking with or considering to come into the tribe, do they fit that DNA? They may not be a perfect match for it, but that's what the DNA is. It's more of a checklist of a mindset. And mindset, for instance, if someone spoke to me and they said, "What do what are you looking to do over the next by the end of the year or whatever," and it was just all based on money, they probably wouldn't be a culture fit for me. It's like that's fantastic, but that's not what we're all about. Um, so there has to be a fit, and that's why the dream client, this, Scott, like because I think you're going back now to the DNA and working a little bit more on yours, and
Yeah.
that's why it's so important because all these questions and who do I let in and what program do I build and all that comes from that dream client DNA. These are the people that I want to be in my life, and here's who they would be. So the easy answer, Emma, I know there's a long-winded answer, is if you were picking a best friend, who would that be, and what would you ask that person? What would you ask? What would you want them to? What would you ask them? Like, what's their mindset look like? So that's kind of how I put in disqualifiers. So it's all a personal choice, but it's basically about, when you pick your best friend and then I mean, that's how the click starts in high school or whatever it is. And you pick another friend to come in. Now there's three of you, like you're looking for certain qualifications. You're looking for characteristics that match who you are. And that's what building a tribe is all about. It's first matching you. I think it's always about matching you. But then right? Like once you are bring one person in that like you, that are kind of like you, then that's all you're looking for is more characteristics that support that group. If I made, I hope I made sense there.
No, you did make sense. And Joey, I'm just pulling something up, which is a discovery script, and it's kind of similar to yours. I heard it on a call that thank God for 2x speed. So I can watch a 40-minute thingy in like 20 minutes. And, it might help. Emma is, what is your biggest struggle with this thing? What's the biggest struggle, obstacle, problem? What are your fears about blankety blank? What have you researched in the past? This is just some questions. Who else do you follow? What's the one thing missing from your business, from your life? What does the perfect solution look like? I don't know that I'd ask all of these, but some of them might help to fill in the blanks. And here's an interesting one. Have somebody fill in the blanks. I want to go from blank to blank so that I can blank. And
Yeah.
I just read that. I saw that. And that's kind of like the dream statement in a way. But you're right, Joey. It makes total sense to who do I want? Well, I want people that in my tribe that I love and that I love hanging out with. And it's identifying who they are. And the questions will determine, are they a fit for the tribe?
Yeah, you'll grow. You'll gain more clarity on who you want to come in and what questions you ask them over time, for sure. Okay, so isn't it hard being on Facebook all the time in nurturing and growing the tribe? What about personal time? This is a great question, and I don't know who
It,
answered.
that is you again.
Okay, so I was asked this question today again. I get this question all the time, and here's the thing, the secret. Okay, if you follow me or you're in my tribe or you see me online and you think that I'm 24/7 online, you're wrong. And it's only because it's it starts with the 4% multiplier. I won't get into all that, but basically you're only doing 4% of what matters. Now, that 4% is not usually on a schedule. So, like I was explaining to the person today, yes, tonight, the Tuesday nights are kind of marked, they're earmarked on calendar, but all the other things that I do are not necessarily at 10 o'clock on Tuesdays, I do this, or 11 o'clock every day, I do this. Like it's sporadic, but it looks like I'm everywhere because I'm doing it sporadically. So, for example, um, if I'm in my group and you see me in there every day, which I am, then you're like, wow, this dude never sleeps. But I was in maybe the group today at 11 a.m., let's say, for an hour or like half an hour, right? And then what you don't see is my 6 hours of nap time or watching Seinfeld reruns on Netflix. And then I might jump back in the group at 6:30 or 7 o'clock and go, hey, what's going on? And like, holy crap, this guy never stops. So sporadically, I'm in groups or whatever during times that I choose. And then when you combine all of that, if you look at it as a whole for the whole week, it looks like this guy's online 24/7.
Well, Joey, I agree, and it's part of you've got. I think you call it. I don't know what you call it, but a benefit breadcrumb schedule thingy, and it's like, okay, uh, you know, we talked about think time earlier. Now, my dream life is I come in, I play around, I love my studio here, I do some things, I pray, I meditate, the Son of Genius and stuff. I don't start engaging until at least 10 o'clock. And then I might go in and jump in the group and answer some things and go into a couple other groups and do my things. That's it. If I decide to go live, I'll go live at some point in the afternoon after yoga. And that's it. Yeah, Tuesday nights we do this, and I have my life purpose on Mondays.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's it's sporadic. But again, you to go live, it could be okay. I'm going to go live to here, and then I'm going to throw it onto YouTube and Instagram. That's a few minutes to just do something quick. I'm not on for an hour. The only
Right.
time we're on extended period is Tuesday nights, or if I'm like Joey, let's go live. What are we talking about? Doesn't matter. Let's go live. And then we go live and talk about something. And that goes back to the superpowers. It's like, okay, what am I going to talk about this week? Well, a couple of times I'll go live, or a couple of times I'll do this at your convenience. But again, going
Yeah.
back earlier, it looks like you're on all the time because, well, I was just in the group and he responded earlier and here, because somebody that has no clue who you are, they're not going to think that you're on all the time because they don't know. So
They
it's
who know? I don't know. They don't know because if they're in the group and they're seeing responses or whatever, like I still get it from people I think that don't know the whole how it all works and like what I just explained. Don't forget that the a lot of the responses or however you're communicating. First of all, I think the big answer here is that you don't go you're not everywhere. This is why it's so important to pick one channel, one area. That's it. In mine, there's a couple of groups I'm in, and that's my one channel. That's it. Like Facebook is basically the channel. All the other things are just random. They're just like whatever. We're broadcasting here to I don't know how many 5 or 6 places at one time, but I don't focus all my energy there.
right.
And it still works. But if you could argue to the point, well, you should, make this all professional, that professional. But then to this person's point, then you're constantly on social media and there's no downtime or whatever. Whereas the way that I do it is I just for me it works. And I suggest that whenever with everybody now, this is just choose your time. And even if you are, I don't know, watching TV or something and you go into your group during a commercial and like a post, who cares? Like it's time. I'm not saying suggesting to do that, but you can easily do that because you have the power of the phone. And there's a point where we talk about this a lot too, Scott, is doing the unscalable at this point until you can't anymore. And I think that doing that unscalable sets us apart because nobody does it.
No,
Nobody
it's like,
does it.
Joey, how many times have you heard me say people should go live?
Yeah.
It's easy, it's simple. It's not easy for most people to go live because they just either don't know how, they lack the confidence, the imposter syndrome, all that stuff. But if someone's like, okay, I'm going to go live, like Wendy, I'm so proud of her. She's going live every day and she just talks about gratitude, what she's grateful for. And she just getting so much more confident. And if one person is grateful and watches that and something changes, then she's done a wonderful job. And she doesn't spend hours. She goes on once a day for a few minutes. Like sometimes I'll catch it and it's over already. It's 2 minutes. It's not, I've got to spend hours. And I think that's the misconception is you don't have to spend hours.
No,
You
consistency matters,
yeah,
but this is our really the only really consistent thing. Even though that my 4% multiplier I showed you guys in Atlas was, yeah, I go into groups and pretty much every day, but there's no time. There's no like at 11 o'clock. This is when I'm in this group doing this. No, it's like okay, I'll just hit it once a day, and if there's nothing there, it might be 2 minutes, it might be 20 minutes, whatever. Wherever I can add that value. So it's just coming up with your own routine to be seen, um, and communicate with your tribe. That's it.
your own routine to be seen. You should write that down. You said that your own routine to be seen. I like it.
Thank you, man. I want to answer this. I think this is you're answering like why would somebody take it over and over again or
Yeah,
uh
this is you. I think the question is, so why would someone take it every year, even if it's the same topic?
I think that's what you're asking, right? Jane, is it Jane or is it you?
It's you, Jane.
You, Jane. Okay. Um uh I'll answer this from a point of view where um see Atlas. Okay, good. We're on the right path here. Uh Atlas is a mindset shift for a lot of people, and it's not just content. It's not information really. It's more of an unlearning process and support system that I find a lot of programs don't have. So people when they join Atlas, they join it to learn to do something like to make money or build their business, but they're secretly joining a community that they don't know really exists until they're inside it, and they don't want to lose that. So that's why they love coming back to it. And so for me, that's where we're talking about tribe today because I'm building a tribe around Atlas. It's not just the program, give me your money, thank you very much, see you later. It's a tribe and it's a culture. And so everybody feels safe there, and it's a gathering. And it's always evolving. There's like Lorna just said that this is what is one of the best. Maybe the next one, there's always something that I'm evolving. I'm always adding to it because I'm always learning and I'm always talking to the tribe. And that's what I think is so important about what we're talking about today is listening to the tribe and always evolving. And that's why people continue to come back. And that's why it's easy for you to, again, I'm going to use the word sell or invite them to something different or something else because you haven't let them down. I think that was a long-winded answer, but
Good. Now
that's
I'm going to answer it.
pardon me.
Now I'm going to answer the
Okay,
question.
thank you
So
from
here's
your perspective.
the question from my perspective. First of all, it may be the same topic, but because it's experiential, it's different every single time, even every single week. So if I was to go to the next Atlas cohort and go into week 9 and learn about whatever it was, the message navigator last week or this week, whatever the topic was, if I go back and do it next year, first of all, Joey is a year ahead in he's taught that another 5 or 6 times, and what he's learned that I get to learn the next time around. That's the first reason. The second one is the depth of the experience, the depth of the learning, the knowledge. It's not just, okay, I learned how to log in. I don't ever have to learn that again. There's so many elements, and there's a mindset. Joey, you said that first. There is a mindset shift that doesn't necessarily happen because you went through the 12 weeks. To just understand some of the things that we keep talking about is focus on one thing, one dream client, one promise, one problem, one solution. That's it. It takes people sometimes years to break themselves up. But I got this course and I got this program and I got this and I got that and I want to be all things to all people.
Hmm.
And again, you've taught this now 7 times,
Yeah,
and you don't teach the same thing 7 times. You keep growing it, you keep changing it, you keep tweaking it based on feedback, based on what you're learning as you go deeper and deeper. If I come back and take it again in a year from now, it's going to be a completely different program,
yeah,
and I'm going to be in a completely different place.
yeah,
And you and I have talked about Atlas from its inception, and I've seen it and we've talked about it. And I know the language and I know the stuff, but until I actually took it and engaged fully in it and actually applied it to me, that was totally different. And I have to keep going back, Jane, and I have to go back to the first, second, third, fourth steps of it because I didn't get maybe the first time what this dream client DNA was. In fact, I went through almost 8 weeks without having it filled out. And I knew I was going to fill it out, but I keep going back and looking at. When we talk about chain of beliefs, you don't learn it on the first go around. When we talk about what is the job, these are complex. They're not complex, but they have to be absorbed and osmosized into our being for us to then go out and play with it. And then you go out and play with it and go, okay, that makes sense. Huh. Now I've got to tweak it. So by the time I come back in a year, I'm in a totally different place. Joey's in a totally different place. I'm going to need to learn where he's gone with it. Again, he's ahead of us. He's not a mile ahead, he's steps ahead of us. And that's the beauty of it. And when you build a tribe, they're going to always want what the knowledge of. It goes to live events. Why do you want to go to a live event? Because you want to hang out and be in the presence of that person and all the other people. And the other part of it is each time you go through another one, you've got different people with different energy, with different experiences, and somebody might comment on your question and be, huh, I never thought about it that way. And that's what makes Atlas different every single time.
Yeah, that was brilliant, man. Thank you. I think that it's important to understand when we're building the tribe that all it is um focus on what they need at that time. And so for me, it's an ever evolving process. That's why the whole set it and forget it program, I don't know if that's really going to continue to be what it used to be, because um the world changes, like even from year to year, the worlds change, and even your audience, your tribe, their problems or the way that they address those problems change. So if you're not listening to the tribe and communicating with them, eventually the business is going to break down. So it's always being in responsive mode to them. And so if you have a program, I believe that if you have a program framework that is relatively the same, but the framework is adaptable to what's going on in their world, then you're always the only for them. Does that make sense? Because you're always listening.
Well, I like that what you said, Joey. You become the only for them. Your
Yeah.
tribe is the only tribe they need to belong to. Your guidance is the only guidance. It goes to the chain of beliefs at the end. Joey is the only one that can teach me how to do this dream client process. And he's the only one. And even as people start to mimic it, again, they don't have the frameworks, they don't have the experience and the depth of what you have. And again, it's like over the years, people have taken my stuff, copied it. It's like, great, it's all yours. You don't got here, and you don't have where I'm at, because by the time you put out this, you're on to what's next for the next
Yeah,
piece.
what you're saying is important, Scott, because I'm hoping everybody hears this, because that's where the tribe comes in. And if you're listening to them and you're always communicating with them, having conversations, reading through the threads, whatever it is. Again, I said at the beginning, like Seth Godin, which is like you don't own the tribe, but at the same time, it's your tribe. You lead it. You've created the space for the tribe.
Yeah,
You own the space, but you don't own the tribe. There's a difference there. And even if we can go further into like, well, you don't own a Facebook group thingy, but let's pretend like, but you've made the space, you've built the building for them to gather, and they happen to come there every day or every week, but you don't own the tribe themselves. You own the
right.
space for them.
Yeah.
And because of that, you have intel. And that's the difference, because we all know, and if you don't know this, then maybe an eye-opening thing, is that we when you have just a regular business that is trying to sell something, you own a part of the market, right? Like I sell widget A's, and so does that guy. I'll sell it cheaper or whatever. Mine's blue, theirs is black. It doesn't matter, but you own a share of that market. Um, but then when you gather a tribe, you have a share of the person themselves, the dream client, because they're on a journey, and you're part of that journey, and you're not the entire journey. And when they're looking for the only, I need this right now, then you're that only, then they will listen to you. And you have a share of the client. It's a completely different thing. And that client may come in and out of your tribe multiple times, but it's a lot easier for you to gather the tribe, continuously talk to them so that you have intel that nobody else has, because anybody can sell information and copy Atlas or copy whatever you're doing, and like, I'll sell the same thing and make my that's not what the tribe is looking for.
Nope.
And they're looking for your insight and guidance. And that's why it's important to gather that tribe. And like I said, have continuous communication with them. And I'm not just talking about you have to pick up the phone and talk to every single person every day, but you get out of the building. Who said that? Was it forget who said that. One of the brilliant marketers that just said, you need to get out of the building. You can't be in the marketing department or the whiteboards like all day. Get out of the
Right.
building and talk to your customers
Yeah.
because they're changing. They're changing.
Well, they're changing, the industry's changing, the market's changing, everything's changing. And that's why an evergreen is probably not going to cut it, especially with everything that somebody has to go through.
Yeah. Imagine that if you're always iterating the the program. It's not that you're rebuilding it all the time, but now you're just iterating. You're making it better all the time and adapting it to what people need. And that's
Yeah,
what makes
Joe.
it all successful.
Yeah, I remember that I presented one program 52 times in a year. It was a different audience every single time. If you had gone to my first one in the 52nd, it would have been two totally different programs, even though it was the same thing because everything changed. The audience changed, the energy changed, the learning changed. What I figured out and doing it 52 times was just nothing like the first time I ever did it. And the same thing holds true here. And just another important piece is you said we create the space for our community.
Yeah.
And it's vital that no matter what you do when you build a tribe, that you've got their email and that they trust you with their email, because we don't know what the next community is going to be. And there's a lot of different ones, and people are vying for that space that people don't want to be on Facebook because Facebook, whatever, and Facebook owns it. And what if they decide to do this? Then what do you do if they shut you down? It's you own the space. But if you own the relationship and can communicate with them, I mean, what if Facebook said we're done or something happens and you're like, okay, hey, hi, everybody. Tomorrow, come meet me here. Where
Exactly.
and that's what you want is because they're going to be looking for you. When you build that, instead of, oh my God, I got to send out 20,000 emails and tell people who could care less that I've moved to a different platform or I'm starting a different thing, they're like, I don't care because they've never opened your emails and you don't have a tribe.
Yeah. And here's another point about, like, this is maybe a off topic point, but I think it's related. On a conversation today where we're talking about tribe and everything else, and the person said, I remember following you. It was in Kajabi. They read a thread or something like that, whatever, and then looked me up and then forgot about it for a little while, right? And then they wanted to find me again, but they didn't remember my name or my website or anything like that. And they were like going, how do I how do I find this guy again? And so they have, a bunch of different devices and found a tab that was open on the iPad like from months ago, a couple of months ago with me and the website or whatever. Like, hey, I found him again, right? And that's what I mean by the tribe looking for you. Like they will jump through hoops to try to find you again.
Yeah.
Uh Maybe that's not the best example of, you know,
No,
having being in the right place at the right time.
it's
Uh
a good example. It's a real example,
but it
Joey.
was the point was that this person said, you made an impact on me. And I went looking to try to find you again, even though I forgot your name and the website and all this other kind of stuff. And that's what a tribe is. It's like you're making an impact because of what you do and what you stand for. And it's it's not like this cold message that goes out or a Facebook or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with advertising, I'm not against it at all or anything like that. Or cold bringing in people with gifts and lead magnets and all these things, but at the same time, it's so much easier to just go out into the world to who you are and build the tribe naturally. And now I know that this person is in my tribe and will probably be a big advocate for me because of the process they went through to get in. So I think it's an important part.
It is. I totally agree. It really is to get yourself out there and create the relationship. And we use the technology to create the relationship. And to piggyback on what you said, I'm not against advertising. I've done Facebook ads and I've done Google AdWords, and we've been successful with Google AdWords campaigns for clients and people in. And they were people that were interested, that were looking for the topic, that wanted, that ended up ascending and getting the program, and everybody was happy. This
Yeah.
is a different world, what we're doing here. That takes a lot of time, effort, energy, money to do all that.
Yeah.
Whereas what we're talking about is natural, it's organic, it's simple, and it creates a lifestyle that's so much easier. I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about looking at the analytics from Google and figuring out what, and Google just spent my money without really telling me, and they went and chose another set of AdWords that I wasn't happy with because they thought it was going to work, and this, and then I got to go change it and tweak it and test it. And this. Yeah, it works, but that's a lot of energy, or it's a lot of expense to have somebody do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they're figuring it out on your dime. So that's why it's when once you have something that's working like this, or you've gathered a group of people, the tribe, and the characteristics, or you can see the gel happening between conversations and all that. That's another big thing. The community bonds together and they start helping each other out, which is amazing. Then it's easier to go out and put money behind something because you know exactly who you're looking for. The language is tweaked to only bring in those people, and so the I guess the outcome you're looking for changes. It's not about bringing in a lot of people to try and funnel them through. It's about paying to be in front of the right people and repelling most of the market again. It's still the concept or the methodology, whatever, still stays the same, except that now you're just paying to
Yeah,
be in front of way more people.
right.
and
When you
and
have
yeah,
money to do it, because it takes money to do all
yeah,
that.
but you also have to have a process that works. I totally believe that.
I
I,
totally
I
agree.
you know,
You have to build everything first
yeah,
and prove that it works. Then you go out and buy traffic of the right people, of the demographic, of the psychographic, of the dream client, with the languaging that pisses off more people that actually get in, but the people that get in are your dream clients. Right?
exactly.
Once you figure it out, it goes to Hormozian, $100 million offers. You said it earlier, bust your butt and spend all your time right now figuring everything out and getting it out there and serving a few clients and figure it all out. Then figure out, how do I go to the next level and
Yep.
be able to give it to some more people rather than just 2, 3, 5, 8, 10, and multiply it that way
Yep.
rather than, well, to me, I'm happy right now that I get to go through Atlas with a dream client. One,
100%.
that's it. I'm happy, and when Atlas is over, then I can say, okay, I've gone through it. Now I can figure out what I want. Not figure out, but now I can put all the pieces together and go out and go into my playgrounds, do what I need to do with a clear message instead of, I could have a few times in the last few weeks been, okay, I'm ready to go. It's like, why? Why
Yeah.
not wait a few more weeks and sit with it, put it all together and say, it was like I had a conversation today because it's yoga teachers who are my thing, but the healers in my life, in this community, they so need the exact same help. And I had a conversation with one of them today was, if you were in a room with, I mentioned like 6 people, I said, could I talk one language and you would understand it? And I'm not fully convinced either way yet. Instead of going out and saying, well, the line in the sand says yoga teachers and healers. It might be both of those, but that's it. Not this and this and this and this and this and this. And 2 to me is still too many, but I don't know yet. And I'm going to let it unfold because I keep running into the healers who like need the exact same thing and go through the pretty much the exact same chain of beliefs. But see, now I can look at it and think this through that way
Right.
instead of, I'm just going to do it, this and that. Atlas gives you a structure and foundation to think things through. That's the first time I've ever thought that, heard that, or said that. So there you go. It
Thank you.
is a structured process to think through how to become a successful entrepreneur in this day and age and succeed at it.
Yeah. And I think one of the thank you for that. One big important thing to to make sure that we say on this call is that um the tribe when you have the tribe itself, uh shoot, I had this formulated and I just forgot what I was gonna say. Um Dang, what was
Well,
it now?
about it, the show tonight was about on building the tribe first. And when you are building the tribe, that's your
Oh,
focus.
that was it. Go ahead, finish. I
No,
got it.
I was just babbling until you got it. Go.
It was the whole idea to build the tribe first is the fact that uh when you're talking to them and you don't know what to offer them and invite them, that's where it comes from. And if you don't have the tribe first, then all you're doing is guessing. And that's the piece that I was missing for many, many years because I thought I knew what people wanted. And even going through the survey stuff and all the things, and yeah, you can kind of get an idea, I guess, but you're still really, really guessing. And but when you gather the tribe first without and just listening to what they're complaining about or asking and all these things, that's where what you serve them with, the solution, becomes very apparent. You're like, wow, they're doing is asking this question.
So, Joey, totally cool what you said, and interesting in that we went into a group and we just like spent a couple of hours and copied and pasted all of the comments and questions and the problems and the challenges. And then, you know, what a shock, right? And then put it all together in a document, then got rid of the stuff that was totally irrelevant, and then got it down to putting all the statements together on what their frustration is, what their struggle is. That's real people sharing their real challenges and real problems, which align with what we knew, but now it confirms what we knew. So then now it's like, okay, maybe we could put together a program that addresses these exact things that lots and lots of people are saying they're struggling with and need help with. And
Yep.
that's where building the tribe. And you ask, what am I doing to build my tribe? That's exactly what I'm doing. So that when I start to talk about it, it's like, this is exactly what you need. And I'm going to talk your language and help you with it. And yeah,
Yeah, it's so counterintuitive because we think that we need to build this program first. And that's another big realization when I talk to well, I'm learning more that like the stuff that are really shifting people's minds is the simplicity of the whole target chart that I show you guys with the you and then the dream client and whatever. And as soon as people see that, they get it. And that those things only came um from conversations of me constantly having conversations with the tribe trying to explain why I believe it should be this way to build a business, right? Those things weren't pieces that immediately came to me. And when I realized that, when I look back at it, thinking, okay, well, I would have never come up with any of this had I not built the tribe first to try to explain to them um why I believe in. I mean, I think it all started for me with the dream client thing was you can be friends with your clients. Like, that's where the whole conversation started way back, because that's how I grew up with my dad, right? It was like we had friends. And I know that there's people who just don't believe that. Like, it's impossible. They're not your friends. They just pay you and that's it. And that's where the whole conversation started. And from that evolved everything that we have today. but if anybody's listening to this, that's where you get the ideas that spark that you're the only one who can teach this, because you're having intimate conversations with people, even if it's through a thread, that nobody else is having.
And that's important, Joey. Nobody else is having them. Everybody else is throttling them. They
Yeah,
want to.
everybody else is pushing. They're like they're broadcasting.
Yeah.
They're not communicating.
Nope.
Like you know this over this past weekend. I added another 30 or 40 conversations through email,
Yeah.
individual emails
Yeah.
that I'm personally having with people. Not in a broadcast. I could have put them into my CRM, could have templated it out and pressed send, and
No.
then okay. But these are individual conversations. So I challenge anyone listening to this: how much of that are you doing? How much are you investing in communicating with your tribe to learn more about them?
I mean, Joey, what if people join your tribe, going back to Emma's question, and after they joined and they got their gift, you started asking them permission to ask them a few simple questions? And you started that process, not with the goal of, but yeah, okay, you join. What I see that, like, for one of my groups, I've got all the biggest challenges, frustrations. If I wanted to, I could have just gone and said, "Hey, Sue, it says you're frustrated with this. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? And what have you tried before, and this and that," with no ulterior motive of selling anything, but just, "Hey, I'm thinking of creating a new program, and I just want some feedback, and I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to know the right track."
yeah, yeah.
And you start talking to them, and it's like, holy crap, this is different than everything else I've signed up for, because everything else I signed up for starts a sequence of some kind that wants to sell me something.
Yeah.
And once again, opting in does not give you permission to sell.
Exactly right. You do not have permission to sell. That is a great way to end this conversation tonight. Thank you for being here. If you're on the live, thank you. Hashtag live or hashtag replay. If you're watching us on the replay, thank you for all the questions and interaction. Hopefully, you like this. You enjoyed it as much as we love delivering this conversation every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. That's where you'll find us on the Facebooks, on not Instagram, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and
Facebook,
Twitter.
and YouTube, Twitter.
That's where we are every single Tuesday night. And we will see you again next Tuesday. And we'll talk about more marketing made easy to help you build your business in a very cool and relaxed way that makes it authentically you. So you don't have to be pushy or anything else, and bring just dream clients into your world. Scott, any last words?
No, you pretty much summed it up real well. Thanks for playing tonight and talking about the first pillar of Build a Tribe First.
Amazing. We'll see.